Ram, John Longshore, Barry McKnight, and a brand new white Grand Cherokee right behind us here today.
Grand Wagoneer.
Grand Wagoneer, yeah, no kidding. Excuse me, you're right. With all the bells and whistles, it can be yours at tremendous savings. We're going to tell you all about it here today at Stivers.
Oh, that thing is awesome. One of several, it's kind of gray. It's a little bit cloudy, tiny drizzle on my drive up from Troy here to the preferred community. But you get here, and of course I have to park around back. And there are so many vehicles here that it kind of brightens up the whole place.
Sure
does. I mean, there's always activity around it. If you might be in the doldrums because of the weather, it's gray and all that kind of stuff. But man, you come here and you see this Grand Wagoneer, or you see those Jeep Cherokees over there, or those Dodge Rams and stuff. My gosh, John, that'll brighten your mood, right?
Well, it really will. Don't let the gray skies keep you from heading out to Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram today, because Barry, look at the calendar. It is the last day of the month.
Yes.
And we talk a lot about that, folks. Last day of the month, Advantage Car Buyer. Now, you've always got the advantage, let's face it. But towards the end of the month, when they want to reach and exceed those monthly sales goals, and they do it Stivers every month, but Detroit loves it when they exceed them. How do they do that? Price. Price sells cars. So slide that napkin across the table with a number that you like today. At the end of the month, I like your chances here at Stivers. The inventory, as Barry mentioned, through the roof. They got so many vehicles here in front, on the sides, and the rear of the dealership. They've got what you want right here today. And Barry, you mix in the end of the month, woo, doesn't get much better.
My imagination is running wild here, because John has Stivers vehicles. I've had Stivers vehicles for years and years. And I could just see John over there talking with those guys. He knows everybody. They're all friendly. They're all super helpful. But, he's sitting over there. For me, I'd say, well, golly, I think I can pay this. And they'll say, fine, shake hands and go. John likes to go, slide it over there. Then he'll, what do you got to say about that? Yeah. All that, just a little treatment, just a little, I'll write it out here on this cocktail napkin. Happen to have one. Pink taco. Oh, yeah. And then slide it over there. John will say, what do you say? The sales associate will look at it and say, okay.
Yeah, they look at it. Then they look at me. They look at it again. Look at me one more time. Look at the thing. Go, yeah, we can do that.
Exactly. I mean, it takes more for John's little slide it over there than for them to say, yeah, that looks good. Let's do it. Absolutely. So, especially, words of the wolf.
Yes.
At the end of the month.
End of the month, it's huge. End of the month, Advantage Car Buyer. Look, they want to make January huge for them. They want to make it huge for you. Come on out today, end of the month. They'll be here until the sun goes down. I'm telling you, here at Stivers in Prattville in the preferred community. Theodis, I don't know what this vehicle sticker's for, but whatever it sticker's for, I can promise you, you're going to get it thousands less here at Stivers in Prattville than you will anywhere else. I can guarantee you that.
Yep.
So come on down from the Rocket City and get this vehicle today, Theodis.
Absolutely, Theodis. Get on down here. Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, conveniently located off of I-65 on Cobbsford Road. I think it's the highway, the number 14 exit.
I think you're right.
It will save you a lot of money, just a short drive down here. Basketball last night had ESPN Plus. Troy was a winner over Georgia State.
Now, what I want to know, I woke up this morning. Okay, I'm glad Troy won. That's good. All right, get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Who won the paper airplane contest?
It was, again, somebody smacked me right in the back of the head with one. And it was a girl named Shelby. It was sponsored by the Montgomery Regional Airport. They put a big bullseye right in the middle of midcourt, and they supply you with paper. You make your own paper airplane, and you can throw it from wherever. The funny thing there was at halftime, and I mean, we're getting peppered over there in the broadcast area and everything. The funny thing is, I always do this. It'll slide right over there on my notes and everything, and I'll open it up and I'll look at it, and it'll be like Teresa.
Yeah.
And so I'll fold it back and I'll throw it on there, or I'll try to throw it on there. Usually, I'm it'll sail on me.
Sure.
Anyway, I got one yesterday. I can't think of what her name was, but it was a lady. Then right there. And of course, we're right on the air. The camera's not on me, but I get it while we're talking, and I throw it over there. And it was in the leather.
Oh,
it was in the leather.
Pick it up. Yeah.
And I thought, I just won this travel voucher for the Montgomery Regional Airport for this girl. And right at the very end, here comes another one, and it scoots. And it was beautiful.
Now, does everybody throw it at the same time?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Oh,
you have to throw it within like 10 or 15 seconds.
Okay. All right.
So, some people just throw it out there. Some people wait, and then they, But this one, people will crowd up right at the front and try to throw it. This one came from like way in the back. And
so how far of a throw are we talking about?
We're talking about 20 yards, maybe.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 yards, which, for a paper airplane, my problem is not that, I don't throw it and it goes straight down. My problem is I get it and it sails, it's majestic and everything. It'll go, on the baseline of the court or something like that, way on down there.
That's a great promotion.
It is good.
It's a fun thing to do and to win some free travel from MGM. That's great.
That is good. But Troy was a winner yesterday. Big basketball this weekend. In about an hour, Robbie will wake up and he'll break down everything on our River Region Straw chat line.
And what channel they're
yesterday.
On. He'll also tell us what network will be carrying all the games, which is very, very informative.
Yes.
Speaking of basketball, Barry, good question from Kirk early today on the River Region Straw chat line. You're going to hear a lot about this over the next month. I already started to hear it.
Yes.
But in February, as we get to tournament time, and be thinking about that for the Longshore McKnight tournament bracket contest coming up. Quad 1 and Quad 2. Kirk's asking about it today.
Yep.
You're going to hear a lot about that in the next 6 weeks.
Well, and he says, I've never heard of it until this year. Well, it's been a thing. They help. That's what helps the committee decide who's going to be on. They'll look at the Quad 1 and the Quad 2 wins. The Quad 1 basically is the Power 5, the Power 4. Quad 2 are high mid-majors. Quad 3 is low mid-majors, and Quad 4 is everybody else. Division 2 games that you play, and you can play those. Not a lot, but NAIA games and stuff like that. That's what Quad.
And you're going to hear a lot, particularly with Auburn and Alabama, Quad 1.
Well,
they both played a lot of Quad 1 games.
The Quad 1 games are the ones that, for lack of a better phrase, really matter to the committees among the Power 4. The Quad 2 teams like Troy, Sunbelt, and all that, those will help. But what the difficulty is in scheduling, and I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds on this, is the Power 4 teams who pay, the money to buy the games, $70, $80, $100,000 to get a Quad 2 or Quad 3 team in so you can draw a big crowd and all that. They don't want to play good Quad 2 teams. they don't. They would rather play if you're like the worst Quad 2 team in the country, you're going to get a lot of people ringing your phone to try and get you in. It's difficult. For instance, and this is probably more important to Auburn and Alabama than anything. Auburn has 12 Quad 1 wins.
Okay.
They are 12-1 in Quad 1. Their only loss in Quad 1 is their only loss of the season. That was Duke. Nobody else in the SEC, nobody else in the SEC has more than 7 Quad wins. Auburn's got 12, which is a school record, I think. Kentucky's got 7 Quad 1 wins, but they've also got 5 Quad 1 losses. So Auburn, more than anybody else, is in really good shape. They'll look at Quad 1 wins when they look at it with the power rankings and all of the little mock-ups that they use. They're going to look at Quad 1 wins. They're going to look at like the net ratings, which is, if you have a Quad 2 win, you better win it by double digits. If you have a Quad 3 win, you better win that by about 30. If you don't, if you have a Quad 3 win that you win by 2, that actually probably hurts you rather than it helps you. So that's what it is. It's the Quad obviously means 4. You've got 4 of them. The highest quad
You know,
is the
Kurt,
greatest value in the wins that you've got.
to break it down to where I can understand
Yeah,
it.
give it up to us in layman's terms.
It's big boy wins. How many big boys have you? You know, that's kind of the way we look at it. You know, it's not, you know, you're not playing Mercer and UT Chattanooga and what's that school out in Texas I beat up on
thought you were
all the
talking
time.
about Abilene Christian
Abilene
at the
Christian.
beginning, but
Yeah,
instead he waits until now.
So it's big boy wins. And I'm just using a football reference there. But in basketball, a quad 1 is a win against a big boy. Now, I know in basketball, there's teams that don't sound like big boys, like let's say Butler. I don't know why I'm picking on Butler.
Gonzaga.
I think Butler's been in the Final Four a couple of times.
They have.
Yeah,
they almost won it 1 year.
So you got to watch out in basketball, Kurt. They can sneak up on you. There's a lot of sneaky teams out there because you think Butler, who? Loyola Marymount.
If I was Auburn or Alabama, I wouldn't schedule Butler if my life depended upon it. I think now that Gonzaga qualifies as a quad 1 win.
I'd say so.
And I mentioned Auburn. Auburn's got 12 quad 1 wins. They're 12-1 in quad 1.
Okay.
Arkansas, by the way, Calipari's first year, they're 1-7 in quad 1 wins. Alabama, 6-3 in quad 1.
6-3.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And the thing is, with the SEC, you'll get a ton more opportunities for quad 1 wins because every game you win in the SEC is a quad 1 win and a real quality win. I mean,
how about this? I would think this might help you. How about they say, you've heard this before. Well, that was a quality loss. If you're going to lose, I guess you want to lose to a quad 1 team.
Yeah, that's a good point. We mentioned if you have a quad 3 that you win by 2.
Yep.
Like a Southeast Missouri State or a Morehead State or something like that. If Alabama goes and they beat Morehead State by 2, that would hurt them more than a 2-point loss on the road against like Tennessee or Florida or something like that. A 2-point loss at Florida would actually help Alabama in the eyes of the committee more than a 2-point win against Morehead State or Mercer. Southeast Missouri State. That's a good point. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, but yeah, that's another reason why you don't want to schedule a quad 3. If you win it, it doesn't help you a great deal, but if you lose it, man, it's cataclysmic. You know,
Barry, I've never liked the term quality loss. Is there such a thing? I mean, losing sucks. I mean, you don't want to lose. Hey, that was a quality loss.
The only thing worse than a quality loss is a bad loss. The only thing worse than a bad loss is a loss to like Oklahoma in a Sugar Bowl when that's worthless and meaningless, or a loss to Utah in a Sugar Bowl where nobody cares because you're not playing for a natty. And that's the worst.
Yeah, that's the don't care loss.
The not caring loss is worse than really any other loss.
With a loss in Norman as an 18-point favorite.
That's horrible.
That's a crappy loss.
That is horrible.
That's a terrible.
Where I think that was the game where, say, let's take for instance, say Alabama loses at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think they were an 18-point favorite.
They were.
In that game.
8.5, I believe.
Right. Coincidence there. So let's just talk about Alabama.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why they got to that loss was that the game where, say, the quarterback at Alabama threw an interception, had a chance to cut the guy off and prevent the touchdown on the sidelines, and he just stuck his foot out like he's doing the hokey pokey.
Yeah, like you're at recess in fourth grade. You're trying to trip the nerd up or something. I'm glad you clarified that, Barry, because there were multiple interceptions. You had to tell me which one you were talking about.
Well,
that's the most famous one. The half-assed effort of trying to tackle the defender who took it back to the house.
Well, that quarterback, who's a fine young man, he's the Campbell Award winner, is the college football's top student athlete this year. People were down on him. Jalen Milroe, they were down on him. And it has confused a lot of people, present company included, that he is projected as one of the top 3 quarterbacks that will be taken in the upcoming NFL draft. Some of the fans who are maybe not as firm in their lack of appreciation for Jalen Milroe's ability are probably thinking, wow, did I miss on this? I mean, top 3 quarterback in the NFL draft. Am I wrong here? Well, Jalen Milroe, according to some reports, has spent this week at the Senior Bowl at all of the practices, which are really valuable because there's scouts there, proving to you Alabama fans with his practice performance that, no, you're not wrong. You're actually probably pretty right.
Well, a lot of those Alabama fans, Barry, didn't want to believe it, particularly from yours truly, about a year and 3 months ago, when I was somewhat critical of Jalen's performance in a bowl game, a playoff game, as a matter of fact. But didn't think the team could win a national title unless he got noticeably better and the playbook expanded. Did not see that, but that's water under the bridge. But these so-called experts you're talking about, Barry, yep, top 3 quarterback, first-round pick. There again, I don't want to diminish maybe his ability, but it must be a very weak quarterback class if he's the 3rd one projected to be taken this year, because I just don't see it.
Before we go to break, Todd McShay, who's from an outfit called The Ringer now, used to be with ESPN.
Yeah, which I didn't know. I didn't know he had left ESPN.
He had a podcast on Wednesday at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, and he says this: Jalen Milroe is a phenomenal athlete. Jalen Milroe is going to be awesome in the game on Saturday, I'm guessing because of his ability to extend plays. And a lot of times in an all-star game, there's going to be miscommunication. Guys haven't played in this system in a long time. They haven't played with a certain quarterback. Quarterbacks with mobility can kind of erase a lot of problems.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of tools to work with. He's got a big arm. He's got a unique blend of speed and power as a runner. He's got a great personality. No, that was my blind date in college. And I know you can sense a but coming, and there is. He's not accurate, short to intermediate. This is still Todd McShay. He is not accurate, short to intermediate. He said he had a tough week so far. He's missing, and he's missing by a sizable amount, and it's concerning. I just feel like it's going fast for him. And a lot of quarterbacks come here, and it's happening fast, and I think he's getting frustrated at times, end quote. Stop me if this sounds unfamiliar to you.
No, it does not. And it's going to be even faster if he is a first-round draft pick and expected to contribute early to an NFL team. It's going to be extremely fast.
He's going to be like Jamie Foxx in Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
So, again, very good student, smart kid. Everybody thinks he's a smart kid. John, there is a difference between smart and football.
Sure, it is. And if he goes and make some plays tomorrow down in Mobile in this Senior Bowl, in this All-Star game where they're really not playing 100%. It is an All-Star game. Does that really show us much? We know what he can do when a play breaks down. When he was at Alabama, he was very athletic, run the ball, did great. But in the NFL, it's a passing league. You've got to be able to throw the football, and you got to be able to throw it accurately
and on time, which was a problem.
No doubt. Barry, I think he has been exposed this weekend and this week down in Mobile, and they're seeing this guy just doesn't have it all there. Who's going to take that chance? Who's going to roll the dice with this young man? Look, I'm rooting for him. I'm just telling you what my eyes tell me. I just don't see it. And you can't put the tube back in the toothpaste, the toothpaste back in the tube. And I'm seeing some reports, he struggled earlier in the week, but he's really had some good practices in the latter part. Yesterday and the day before, he lit it up. But early in the week, it was a little rough. Look, I can't erase what I read and saw earlier this week. I saw the one-hops. I saw the overthrows. I saw the interceptions. Just because he might have had a better practice in the latter part of the week, I still remember what happened earlier in the week. It's like when you take that girl out for her first date and she's got terrible breath. But, as you take her out again, she looks a little bit better and mixed in a little scope. Are you ever going to forget that bad breath on that first date? No.
Remember me telling you about John loving it when we're talking business with the folks at Stivers, and he's writing that little thing down on the cocktail napkin, and he's sliding it over. that second date with that girl, brings a fresh, unopened pack of Tic Tacs, takes it out, just kind of doesn't say anything, just kind of slides it over there.
Sure.
Things got better, but Tic Tacs run out.
Tic Tacs do run out. You're right about that. So I've already seen what happened earlier this week. I've read it, seen it, heard it, and it's been, digested in my brain. I'm great. He had a good yesterday at practice. He had a good day the day before. But what happened on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Is that you telling me that's not going to happen in an NFL game?
He has had some really good games in Alabama. He has. Mostly during 2023. But when it comes right down to it, hey, he looks great now. Yeah, but he's capable of what we saw then too. Do you spend your first round draft choice on a guy like that?
Do you? As we go to break,
yes.
let's look at. Think about this, and we'll discuss it when we return. Do you see Jalen Milroe ever being the MVP of the NFL, of the National Football League, like another quarterback that played in this state was at one time?
Stabler? No, yeah. I do not.
Well, that MVP had a very interesting comment yesterday on a program with Stephen A. Smith.
You love it, love it. That's a tease, people in the business. Nobody does it better.
Yeah.
We're live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. Really big show today.
Yeah.
Sounded like Ed Sullivan. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, folks, you got to take advantage of the incredible holiday savings at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where they sell America's best-selling truck for 50 years in a row, the F-150. And you can get an F-150 at 1.9% APR for 60 months or up to $15,000 off MSRP and no payments for 90 days. Hundreds to choose from. Your F-150 is on the lot right now. Also, F-150 Lightnings, $15,000 off MSRP and 0% APR for 72 months. What about the stylish Ford Bronco? Up to $10,000 off MSRP, starting as low as $34,990. And it started it all with the Ford Explorer. You can get one for up to $8,000 off MSRP, as low as $33,900 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. Folks, Stivers Ford is loaded with cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell. Stivers Ford, 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery, where price sells cars. All right, welcome back in, everybody. We're live here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, last day of the month. Check your calendar. That means Advantage Car Buyer. Why do I say that? Because, look, they want to meet and exceed sales goals here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. How do they do that? Well, selling you a vehicle of your dreams at the absolute lowest price. Check this out, Barry. Up to $20,000. That's $20,000 off MSRP or 4.9% APR for 72 months on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. 2025.
Have you seen people the Ram Bighorn? Have you seen that? It's beautiful, right? It is amazing. You know what I like as well about it? I mean, the styling. It's a great looking vehicle. It's a fun vehicle to drive, but it works like, well, a Ram.
Sure.
You know what makes it even better looking? At $20,000, you ain't got to pay.
Exactly.
It ain't on the sticker, boys. $20,000 is off the sticker. You can't look better than that.
You can't. I mean, who doesn't want to save 20 grand? I mean, come on, I'd like to meet you if you don't want to. Man, we're talking about Northwest Florida and Alabama's largest volume Ram dealer. So you say, well, what are you talking about there? Well, let's look at a map. We're going from Panama City to Pensacola up to Huntsville. Alabama's that area of the country, Northwest Florida, the whole state of Alabama, the largest volume Ram dealer, and they're selling 2025 Ram 1500s at up to 20 grand off or 4.9% APR for 72 months. It's incredible. Bear, you talked about it earlier.
I heard
the selection, the number of vehicles here on the lot. They've got the color, the style, the trim level, anything you want, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. It is here. Get your Ram today before the calendar flips to February.
Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Longshore and McKnight on location again. Quick value judgment from our viewers. Which would you rather hear first coming out of the break? A comment from a Heisman Trophy winner, #1 NFL draft pick, NFL MVP, or Tobias?
Oh, Tobias.
Tobias on our chat line, brought to you by River Region Straw. Call Kenny at 669-5959. Tobias says this, gentlemen, talking to you. Gentlemen, the NFL scouts don't draft based on production. They are about traits. There's an amount of coaching that can make a quarterback process faster. That is from Tobias.
Is that there's no amount of coaching? I'm trying to figure out what that. Did he miss the N on that?
Tobias. Yeah, that may be it. He said, yeah, I guess it's a typo, which is entirely different from the way I read it. I read it as there's an amount of coaching that can make a quarterback process faster. Good eyes, John. I think what he meant to say is there is no amount of coaching that can make a quarterback.
I mean, you either have it or you don't, particularly at this stage of your career.
I mean
there's a guy that's played big-time college football, and it's about to get faster in the NFL.
And believe me, the production can come a lot easier against a sophomore defensive tackle from Western Kentucky or a junior defensive back from Mercer than it's going to come against the Baltimore Ravens.
I totally agree.
I mean, that's just a different type of person you're competing against, because I guarantee you those guys are processing it faster. And the thing is again, this is a thing. I firmly believe it. I've been around it, a long time. There are some really, really smart people. I can go from my office on the Troy campus and head over to Adams Hall or McCall or anywhere, and I can find some brilliant people in there. But you show them tape of the Michigan defense, and not only would they not understand it, they would never understand it. They can split an atom, or they can, research a cure for cancer on the Troy campus, but they ain't breaking down a cover 2 with the safety over the top and the cornerbacks playing press man. They can't do it, They never will. That's what we're talking about. And I'm not saying Jalen Hurts can't do it. I'm just saying.
Or Jalen Milroe.
I'm sorry, Jalen Milroe. Thank you. Jalen Milroe can't do it. But I do have my doubts whether he can do it quickly enough to improve his decision-making against much better athletes and a much higher level.
Yeah, Tobias, I think you're spot on with that one. Great. There's been a lot of great athletes, but you get to that next level, and as fast as it's moving, and how you've got to process that information, and how you've got to be able to make throws, not just deep ones, but you got to make the intermediates. You got to make them across the middle. You got to make the little swing out pass to the running back. There's so much involved with it. And there again, it's the most important position on the field. particularly in the NFL, and I think you're seeing that in the college game as well. It's extremely important, and your guys got to be top notch because there's 31 other teams out there in the NFL. They're going to make sure their guy's as good as he can possibly be.
Yeah.
And the training days are over. I mean, that happens in college. It happens in training camp. But once you get out on the field, Barry, I mean, if you can't deliver, you're out of there.
Yeah.
Do they want to make a decision, particularly with the first-round guy, when you're talking of millions and millions of dollars, signing bonuses and things of that nature, first-round money? You better make sure the guy that you're picking is going to be able to deliver.
One of John's favorite, most unsung NFL coaches ever, the great Jerry Glanville. John liked the cut of his jib.
Yeah.
He said, you know what NFL stands for? Not for long. They ain't carrying you just because they like you or because you're good in the community or anything like that. They carry you because you can do the job.
You can deliver.
That is,
you've got to be able to deliver. So there again, I know we've talked a lot about Milroe.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of coverage coming out of Mobile. I was channel surfing last night, Barry, and the NFL Network is showing practice. And the first thing that came to my mind was, who in the world is watching this? I mean, I'm that kind of guy. I'm always thinking, who's watching this? As I scan around going, really? But
just to give you some perspective, when John was playing, I'm sorry, when John was on the team at Jeff Davis High School and he was at practice, at least half the time, he wasn't watching practice.
Oh, heck
and
no.
he was at practice.
Yeah, sure.
These are fantasy league guys.
Yeah.
These are unmarried, girlfriendless guys. These are guys who want to look smart on Twitter or something like that.
And I always fall back, Barry, too. Well, they got to put something on. I mean, they can't put a test pattern on. So I guess they might as well stick up a couple of cameras and show some guys throwing a football down in Mobile.
Well, this is the other thing about it, too. And I haven't watched a second of it, as you can probably tell. I feel badly. This year, well, with my duties with Troy, I've done play-by-play for soccer and women's volleyball, women's basketball, softball, baseball, football, and men's basketball. I don't think I could do hockey. I've never done a hockey game. I don't think I can do it. I've seen a couple of them live, and it's a little bit difficult. My son, Jack, is a big hockey fan. I have no idea why. John, I could not do what the NFL Network does and have one anchor there at practice talking with, I don't know, Booger McFarland or Mike Mayock or somebody that would say, and I could not do play-by-play of a football practice.
I'm with you.
Got to be kidding. I had to do a day one time at Alabama, Franchione's first year. Didn't know much about him, what he did. John, and I did it with the late, great Doug Layton, who was
what a guy.
Whew.
Awesome.
That is hard, man.
It is. Yeah, there's no doubt. And I know it's a lot of video content, and these guys are, they're showing you a lot of stuff, but, they had like I guess it was 11 on 11, little scrimmage situation when I happened to turn it on, but it wasn't full tackling. They weren't taking guys to the ground, kind of just, thud.
Yeah, they call it thud, yeah.
And, I'm thinking, wow, really? But, there again, the game's tomorrow. Most of the scouts are already gone. They've seen what they want to see.
Yeah.
So they leave town, they play the game and whatnot. But I just don't believe that a performance in an all-star game, Barry, I can't believe that's going to, wow, man, that game that guy played, woo, man, he showed us.
It's practice. It's how you look in practice and more than anything else. I mean, the Senior Bowl can really, really help you. It can hurt you. There's a lot of people who have had wonderful Hall of Fame NFL careers who never played in the Senior Bowl. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it's really good. And they can look at tape and see how you play. What they want to see is how you work in drills, how accurate you are in drills, how you interact with everybody else. So that's going on.
And, I guess with a quarterback, how good are you at a leadership position, particularly with a bunch of new faces people that you don't know. All right, Chris, we're going to get to the Victorland 777 topic wheel early today. When we get back, we'll start to spin it because in the next hour, in about an hour from now, Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet is going to join us. He's going to talk about some of the prop action, getting ready for Big Game 59.
Yes.
That's coming up in about a week. Lee Sterling, a week from today, will join us as well to talk about that from Paramount Sports. But we'll do that in about an hour. We'll get the Victorland 777 topic wheel spinning when we return. Barry and I are set up right here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. It is Northwest Florida and the entire state of Alabama's largest volume Ram dealer. But they've also got some other great deals going on here as well. How about this, Barry? Up to $17,000 off a Jeep Grand Cherokee. That's right. Or 0% APR for 72 months. How about up to $17,000 off a Jeep Wrangler Sierra or 72 months at 0%. A Jeep Gladiator, you can get one of those at up to 20. There's that $20,000 off again, or 0% for 36 months. Just a couple of more great examples of what's going on here with the great lineup of Rams, of the Jeep lineup, of the Chrysler lineup. You just can't beat it here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
And again, we've had somebody text me a moment ago. This is a Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
The Jeep line is underappreciated, so it's underrated. Look at Carol Merrill here.
Yeah.
The Jeep, this is stylish. You know, the Jeep began its existence as a military vehicle that can go anywhere. And you know, my brother had a Jeep like that one time. The Grand Wagoneer, I'm telling you, it's stylish.
Man, this thing is sweet, Barry.
Yeah,
man, I'm telling you. I love the sunroof. How about that?
Have you worked on The Price is Right?
Yeah.
That was really good.
How about that?
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight here in Prattville in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. They're licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Yeah, there we go. We're back here live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville on a Friday. The Victorland 777 topic wheel. We're going to get that going early today because, like we mentioned, got some guests in the second hour. I will say this, Bear. I do believe that one of the topics on the Victorland topic wheel we've already touched on it, but I want to kind of get into that a little bit more if it happens to pop up, which I have a feeling that it will sometime today. And I do see that the Victoryland topic wheel is locked and loaded.
I see it down there. Is Cam Newton on there at all? Is that what we're talking about?
That could be one of them.
Yeah.
That could be one of them. So what do you say without further ado? That's kind of another game show. Without further ado, let's
have we been having ado?
Yeah.
I mean, has it been a lot of ado so far? So now we have to cut off the ado and say, okay, no further ado. Let's get to the Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Let's do it. Gurn, put it up on the screen. Let's spin it and see what pops up. 5 of them here today. Going to start the topic wheel early. Chris has got to be excited about that. 17-mile. I thought this was an interesting one.
How much Jalen Milroe has been overthrowing receivers in the Pro Bowl?
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one. So yesterday we got a chat from our man Range Pro, and I saw it, but we didn't address it. We didn't bring it up.
Right.
And it was the Range Pro is a huge professional golf fan. Loves professional golf. In fact, I think he likes to maybe wager a little bit on professional golf. You bet on the player or a combination of players against one another. And this week, the professional tour is at Pebble Beach, which is on the 17-mile drive. That was kind of how I brought that in.
The 17-mile-an-hour drive.
No, 17-mile. Not miles per hour.
Oh, 17-mile drive.
But you do want to go slow, Barry, because it's a very beautiful stretch of road in Northern California near Carmel, Monterey, Pebble Beach. Very
17
beautiful.
miles an hour is at my exit velocity off the tee.
So I believe Scotty Scheffler will be back. You know, he cut himself. He was slicing up some fruit or something. He needed a slap chop is what he needed, because you're not going to cut yourself.
Yeah, you could
slap your troubles away. He wouldn't have had the cut that he had to get stitched up.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, things have healed up nicely.
Yeah.
He should be in good shape there. But I thought it was interesting when Range Pro talked about, there again, on our chat line yesterday, he's excited about this event. Maybe, I don't know, we've had a couple of others. They've been out in Hawaii. They've been in California. They were supposed to have the tournament in L.A., but they've had to move it because of the wildfires and whatnot. But they are up in Northern California. You do see a lot of the bigger names. I saw Ricky Fowler yesterday play. Now, see, I would rather watch those guys than an NFL practice, even though it was the first round yesterday. Enjoyed watching a little bit of that. But a lot of the bigger names played at Pebble Beach. Range Pro was excited about it. And I thought, what would be an interesting way to kind of put a topic on the topic wheel that might have you thinking? Well, 17-mile.
The thing I remember was watching last week the Bills and Chiefs AFC title game, and it was Nance and it was Tony Romo, and Nance was doing a live promo. Not as well as you, but he did all right. Where they had the video of Pebble Beach and and everything. He says, live from the most beautiful spot in the world. It's Pebble Beach for, the and everything. And Tony says, well, are you going to be there? He says, I may dabble, or something like that. And I'm thinking, and they're showing the video of Pebble Beach, and I'm seeing a rocky beach, and, the beach is only like this wide, and there's rocks on the beach and everything. And right over the big bluff where the rocks are falling onto the beach, and it's supposed to be beautiful with, all this kind of stuff. There's the golf course right there. And I'm thinking, is it the most beautiful spot in the world?
It depends on how you look at it. I will say this.
He also mentioned, Range Pro mentioned, and you played there.
I have.
Before.
Yeah, years ago. I say this, Barry, it's some of the most expensive real estate in the world. I will say that. The property there is extremely expensive. But it just depends on how you look at it. I mean, you're going to have days like today. It's overcast. It's cloudy. You'll see guys wearing jackets. It can be windy. Or the next thing you know, the sun's popping out and there's no wind and it's a beautiful day. You're not going to get in the water at Pebble Beach. A, it's too cold. And B, it's a little rough as well. But it is a beautiful place to walk up and down the beach. And there are areas you'll see people walking on the beach by some of the holes there, 8, 9, and 10 that are right there bordering the beach and the coastline. But it's extremely beautiful, but it's different. I mean, it's not beautiful like the Caribbean. It's a the majestic forest and the tall trees, and you'll see some deer running around out on the golf course. So it's a different type of beauty, but the golf course is always in fantastic shape. It's amazing because of how many people play that golf course every day of the year. How the maintenance staff there is just second to none, and being able to keep that up in the condition that it is. It's a public facility. So anybody
never knew that.
Yep.
Okay.
So anybody can go play. It'll just cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, from what I understand now, Barry, it's about close to $1,000 when it's all said and done to go play at Pebble Beach. It's close to that
with the cart, right?
No. Yeah. You're gonna have a golf cart. You're gonna need to because it's kind of spread out. You can walk if you'd like. I played Pebble Beach the summer before my senior year in high school. So we're talking over 40 years ago. In the early 80s, 1982, the summer of 82.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget this, Barry. I've told this story 100 times. I'm out there with my parents. My father's at an insurance convention, let me tag along, which I did a lot as a youngster when he traveled.
Ducked your head into a few of the insurance seminars, kind of like you did the Mississippi State offensive lineman and his interview session.
Sure, yeah.
SEC Media Days.
Exactly, sure, yeah. Exactly. When they got into the whole life, I was interested. The term, or not so much.
Yeah, there you go. So what he's saying is, during the insurance convention, young Johnny had a little bit of free time.
Well, my dad did too. So we kind of made a trip out of it. And so I'll never forget, we were sitting in the pro shop, about to go tee off at Pebble Beach, and I'll never forget the clerk behind the counter saying, "Mr. Longshore, that'll be $160. It's just 40-something years ago.
This is also when he also said, you get a bowl of soup with that.
Yeah, and I remember thinking to myself, I did not say it out loud, but I went, my dad's about to spend $80 on me to go play golf. I thought, I better be on my P's and Q's today. I mean, I better not say turds, double turds falling. So I was on my best behavior. Back then I was, known to, blow off a little steam if I didn't hit a shot the way I thought I should hit it.
All right, Range Pro, you understood. He said, back then. Right?
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a point of order right there? Anybody want to take a 30-second timeout and review that back then statement?
I think I've gotten a little better in my day. I was, hit a bad shot. Let's go for it. Let's go to the next one. But yeah, $80. I'll never forget that, Bear. I thought, man, Pops is spending $160 for us to play golf today. I went, geez. There again, this is the summer of 82, 42 years ago. And I can still remember it. I've said this many, many times. Seen a lot of great golf tournaments, played a lot of great golf courses. The best shot in golf that I've ever hit or been a part of or seen, and just how it looked to me, and you'll see it this weekend, is the second shot on number 8. You hear them talk about the little short par 3 7th. It's 106 yards, and they're hitting wedges, but if the wind's blowing at it, blowing in your face, you've heard stories of guys hitting 4 irons down there because the wind's blowing so hard. I didn't experience
That's quite
that.
the range of clubs to choose.
No kidding. But the next hole, par 4, 8th, you can't see the green from the tee because you're kind of hitting uphill, but that tee ball is going to land in an area where you're going to have to hit your next shot over the beach to a green that's tucked up against the cliff.
So they're
kind of hitting downhill a little bit.
So if I'm visualizing it correctly, if you fade one a little too much, you can actually hit your second shot into the Pacific Ocean
or the beach. And I've seen guys go down there and try to retrieve their ball off the beach because there's no white stakes over there. Beautiful shot, kind of downhill, just the Pacific there to you in your view. Great shot. 9 and 10 will go down the coastline as well. But yeah, it's a great, beautiful venue. There's other courses there around there as well. But Pebble Beach, the most well-known, the most famous. And people ask me all the time, Barry, because I've been playing golf since I was 8 years old. Would you have any interest in going to play golf in Scotland or Ireland? And a lot of my friends have done it. They spent a week over there and done it. Maybe it's on my bucket list. I got a lot of things on my bucket list. It's not on the top. I guess I would. Do I really want to go play when it could be 50 degrees and misty rain and it's cloudy? And, the Irishman's carrying my bag. Oh, laddie, great day for golf. Yeah, I think I would.
If that's his ball, I'm Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, but I think if I had a choice of, would I rather go play Pebble Beach again? Would I rather go out in the desert and play where the conditions are pristine every day?
Yeah.
Probably so. But that's just me.
That ain't just you. That would be me too. Scotland, playing out on a pasture.
And I know what you say when the British Open rolls around. You go, what is this place?
Yeah.
I mean, the grass is dead. There's no trees.
They need to cut all the. What is gorse anyway? That kind of thing for sure. Well,
fescue. What is fescue?
I don't know. It sounds like something that if you had some sort of ointment, you might be able to clear it up. Man, my fescue is kicking in today. Golly, yeah. It's 10 minutes until the hour. We're at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
And look at that. That was a 10-minute explanation on just one topic on the wheel, Chris. What about that?
We got 4 more to get to.
Yeah.
A little memory, a little song, a little dance.
Man, $160.
Yeah. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Joining us now is Marianne at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, 8163 Vaughan Road in Pepper Tree. And Marianne, I can see behind you, the Valentine's decorations are already set up in the store. It's never too early to start thinking about that Valentine's gift.
Exactly. Love is in the air at Marguerite's. We have lots of decorations to remind guys, I say, walk in or drive by that we are open. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and it's never too early to think about Valentine's Day. We have beautiful pieces in all different price points, and beginning today, we're going to have cases to make it easy for guys to come in. We'll have a $199 case or a $250 or a $300, a $500, just to make it easy to shop, because Valentine's Day, again, it's right after Christmas, so guys have pretty much put on their gift thinking caps for as long as it's going to get. So we're going to make it easy for them. Just all they have to do is walk through the door, and we are fully staffed, ready to help people find the perfect gift.
And Marianne, you're open 7 days a week, so it's very convenient for our viewers and our listeners. They can drop by any day. Tell us your hours of operation.
Sure, we're open 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday. So 7 days a week in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center.
Look, folks, take it from me. A Valentine's gift from Marguerite's lets her know that, you want to give her the very best. And, of course, they've got price points to really fit any budget at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. They're at 8163 Vaughan Road in Pepper Tree, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. And go by and see Marianne and that great staff at Marguerite's. They will certainly make your Valentine happy. Hey, Marianne, have a great day. The store looks beautiful. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, back at it here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, where Price sells cars. Northwest Florida and Alabama's largest volume Ram dealer. It's the end of the month, last day, 31st of January, Advantage Car Buyer. Come on out here and see our friends at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and they'll get you into that vehicle you've been dreaming about. Let's make it a reality today. And people here say, end of the month, what's the big deal? They want to meet and exceed those monthly sales goals. How do they do it? Put you in the car or truck or SUV of your dreams at the absolute lowest prices. Today's your day.
Yep, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama, Longshore and McKnight on this Friday. I noticed they got the receptionist desk over there decorated, not just with our favorite receptionist, but also they got Valentine's stuff coming up. How about that?
Well, Barry, you see, can you see? Well, you can. It's behind your head. How about this?
So's half the showroom. Yep.
The red bow, they'll put it on this vehicle or any vehicle here at Stivers. Yeah. And you can take it to the driveway with a big red bow on it for Valentine's.
Well, without any more further ado, let's get back to the topic wheel here, presented by Victoryland. Let's see. We got 4 to go here.
Let's see what we got. Hey, Dennis Mitchell's up today early.
Boy, Dennis has got a conversation going on about professional wrestling with Chris the Bammer and with Theota, saying Rip Rogers graduated from the same high school as John Cougar Mellencamp in Seymour, Indiana. My brother-in-law graduated from Seymour High School. He was a Seymour Owl in Seymour, Indiana. Shout out to to Grant Goodman, my brother-in-law up in Bloomington, Indiana, played wide receiver. His dad was like a high school Hall of Fame coach in Seymour. Small world. John Cougar. I think my brother-in-law's dad was like the dean of boys at his high school.
Oh, man.
He actually put John Cougar Mellencamp on like ISS for about a week one time. In school suspension.
Ooh,
Yeah.
In school suspension.
Well, yeah. And so my obvious question was that the instance where your dad, Joe, put John Cougar Mellencamp in school suspension for a week, generating the song I Fight Authority, Authority Always Wins? He says, I've often wondered about that. That was maybe about my dad.
Sure.
Yep.
So,
anyway,
you've got to kind of get the chronological order, because when John Cougar released his first album, he was John Cougar.
John Cougar.
And I think the hit song was I Need a Lover That Won't Drive Me Crazy.
Yeah.
And I think Pat Benatar covered that, or maybe it was the opposite.
But
he was John
I think
Cougar.
you're dead on. Yeah.
And then he was John Mellencamp. And then he was John Cougar Mellencamp. So they were like several different albums. I don't know how many albums Mellencamp came out with, but some of them were just John Cougar, and some of them were John Mellencamp, and some of them were John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yeah. His actual middle initial is J. So it turns out his middle name wasn't even Cougar. Yeah. His first single, since everybody's using Wikipedia, his first single was from the self-titled eponymous album from 1979 called John Cougar, and his first hit off of that album was I Need a Lover.
What's the name of that
you
song?
go.
What's the name of that song? I wondered that.
It's called I Need a Lover.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you have it.
Evidently, that's the Justin Tucker song right now, too. Anyway.
Going to get to that in just a moment. I got some advice for that guy. So does it give the list of his albums? I'm just curious, or how they were named, because they're getting used.
John Cougar, I think his biggest one was American Fool.
Yeah. But he wanted to use his whole name.
Yeah,
or something.
John Cougar in 1979, John Mellencamp in 1998. And, then he kind of went downhill.
All right, so you brought this up, Barry. I'm just going to I don't know, is it Justin Tuck you said? Yeah.
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker, he's a field goal kicker for the Baltimore Ravens. He's been accused of some inappropriate conduct at a massage, I don't want to say parlor. Maybe he went to a spa. Who knows?
Yeah, a rehab, a spa.
A spa.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know his marital status. I don't know if he's got a girlfriend, whatever. I don't know. But here's a little advice. If you're going to get a massage, which I highly recommend,
I've never had one.
Oh, they're fantastic. It seems like I try to get one about every 3 months if I'm somewhere I can do it. But here's the deal. Don't go to go to a reputable
facility.
Reputable facility. Maybe a nice hotel that's got a spa, whatever. So that you're dealing with nice people. Number two, you're in a high-profile position. Ooh, here's an NFL player. This guy's got a lot of money. So you're exposing yourself, pardon the pun, to an element that might want to take advantage of you. You don't want to do that. You want to go to a reputable place. And here's another idea. If you are married or have a significant other, take her with you. It's called a couples massage. She'll be in the room with you.
Cool.
She's on this table, you're on this table.
I think I saw that movie with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. I want to say Kevin James was in it.
That's right.
It was called Couples Retreat.
That's right.
That's an excellent idea.
And it's easy. So then you're not dealing with all that kind of stuff. I don't know what happened with Deshaun Watson. Same type deal, I understand.
Yeah.
But you don't want to put yourself in that position. I cannot believe that. I know they got to tell these players stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But it does. I think I read, Barry, there's 6
6 different allegations between 2012 and 2016, which
Ooh.
was at the earliest 9 years ago. Am I right in thinking, I don't want to be accused of defamation, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft
Same
was
thing.
accused of that?
Yes.
No.
Why would
He
you
has
want to do that?
absolutely, unequivocally denied those allegations that they ever took place, and he also has criticized the reporting in the Baltimore Banner that was publishing that as well. Okay, we promised you.
Yep.
No further ado. So the ado.
Let's go. Let's
is
spin
over.
it.
Yes.
Spin the Big Plan 777 topic wheel, and let's see what pops up next here. There we have it. I knew it was coming up, Barry. Exposed.
This is a different topic, right?
No. Were the naysayers right? We're talking about Jalen Milroe. You touched on it in the first hour.
Yeah.
Todd McShay, draft expert, with some comments. Let me tell you, Barry, these guys are just trying to smooth it over. Because you read what McShay said. I read some stuff from some other accounts from his practices in Mobile this week. Earlier in the week, one hopping it, overthrows, interceptions, things of that nature. But now we're hearing, later in the week, his practices really went well, did a lot better. Look, we know what happened. The toothpaste is already out of the tube. You can't go back. So there again, were the naysayers right? Am I a naysayer? Am I being labeled as a naysayer because I questioned Jalen's ability a long time ago? Now it looks like a lot of so-called experts are questioning it in Mobile this week.
I've never had a chance to view John's tax returns. I've never, I read a lot. I read a lot of biographies and history. I usually don't read a lot of fiction, so I've never been interested in looking at his tax returns.
Yep.
But underneath where, it says Longshore, comma, John, social security number, everything, and then it says occupation, it should say naysayer, professional naysayer. Have I ever been a naysayer? Yes, he has. I hate to think that Bama fans are feeling smug and superior. I know they always do, but smug and superior about these bad reports coming out about Jalen Milroe, that it kind of justifies what they've been saying. Bama fans, are you rooting against Jalen Milroe? Are you like, I told you guys, I was right. He stinks. He stunk when he was here. He'll always stink. I mean, are you guys out there actively rooting against Jalen Milroe? If he goes on and has a 12 or 15-year NFL career, a couple of Super Bowl appearances like another Jalen who quarterbacked at Alabama, are you going to be disappointed? Are you going to be mad that, doggone him, why didn't he play that way at Alabama? I mean, what's the tone of some of this response to his poor Senior Bowl practice? Is it like, woohoo, I was right? To a guy who got his degree from Alabama in 3 years, which some people take twice as long.
Yeah.
Best student athlete, scholar athlete in college football, and you're rooting against him just to
it
justify
seemed
yourself?
that there were a lot, Barry, after that bowl game that were kind of pleased that Milroe would be moving on. And when he finally made the decision or announcement that, I'm going to go to the NFL, whatever, they weren't disappointed about it. Maybe his 2 years there as the starter, they'd had enough. It was time to move on. But I think as they saw how he played and did not perform and did not execute as well as they had imagined from maybe mid-October on, that time to move on, and that their affection or rooting for him had kind of diminished.
I just know that there were a ton of Alabama fans that were screaming at Kalen DeBoer in the post-game press conference after the lackluster loss to Michigan in the ReliaQuest Bowl, when somebody asked Kalen DeBoer, was there ever any thought to replacing Milroe in the game? What did you see? And he says, I saw a guy who was fighting hard.
Yeah.
Fighting hard? How many of you were screaming at the top of your lungs at the television and throwing popcorn at it and saying, fighting hard? How about completing a pass? How about reading a defense? How about going to your second or third option? Fighting hard? Is that the best you can say? Is that he was fighting hard?
You know, shouldn't you be fighting hard on every play?
Isn't that like a baseline expectation?
You got to be executing, and that was not happening. So the naysayers out there, wonder what they're thinking now. There again,
the wank people?
Yeah, whether Milroe lights it up tomorrow, it's an all-star game. And I think it's going to be interesting when the combine start up this spring, Barry, and what type of reports we're hearing there. Look, I'm not here to beat up on Milroe. I'm just, I'm hearing these things that he's the third quarterback taken. I just don't see it.
He will kill the combine. He will be extraordinary in the combine. The 40, the shuttle runs, the bench presses, they'll get out there and they'll have him air out a throw or two. He'll throw it 70 yards.
Sure.
He will. His combine stuff is what's going to get him a first-round draft position.
Yeah, sure.
But does that mean he can play? I don't know. Well,
I don't know either.
Yeah, let's move ahead a little bit. Still got a lot. It's about time for Robbie to wake up. And he's going to let us know, what stuff we needed to be talking about instead of what we're talking about. We may have to get to some basketball.
It's coming. I can promise you. It's on the list. All right, spin the Victorland 777 topic wheel. Let's see what comes up next. And it is, tomorrow, Barry, a big day of SEC hoops, and it's going to start at 11 o'clock in the morning. I got to tell you, I guess they didn't, confer with me. I don't like these tip times tomorrow. It's inconvenient.
Well, here's the deal is ESPN, which John's right, will air the first game. ESPN has got a triple header of basketball from the SEC. 11 o'clock in the morning. This ought to be a good one. Number 5, Florida at number 8, Tennessee, followed by number 1, Auburn at number 23, Ole Miss. Robbie's already called for the upset in that one.
What's the number in that game? Let me see if I can get
a good one. I don't see one yet.
Let's see.
But Auburn and Ole Miss from Oxford, that's at 1 o'clock, right after Florida, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then at night at 8, it's number 12, Kentucky hosting Arkansas in the return of Calipari. Those are the ESPN games. I'm thinking, what does ESPN carry between 3 and 8? I mean, what
must be an ACC game, maybe.
Okay.
Big Ten. I don't know. Maybe Fox does Big Ten. Alabama's on ESPN2 tomorrow, taking on the Georgia Bulldogs.
That's at 3 o'clock
in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Georgia 15-6, having a good year, but they get kind of lost in the shuffle in the SEC. Also at SEC Network, they've got 4 games. Boom, 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 boom. Noon, Missouri at Mississippi State. 2:30, Vanderbilt versus Oklahoma from Norman. 5 o'clock, Texas at LSU. 7:30, it's Texas A&M versus South Carolina. Here's the only gripe I've got, and I've had to deal with this a bit. ESPN will carry the games in 2-hour increments.
Correct.
Florida and Tennessee at 11 o'clock, Auburn and Ole Miss at 1. That's 2 hours apart. All of their games are that way. Guaranteed you won't see the start of that Auburn, Mississippi State, Ole Miss game. You will not see it. SEC Network, they go noon, 2:30, 5 o'clock, 7:30, which makes sense. Why do you do that on the SEC Network and you don't do that on ESPN?
Well, the first thing I thought of when you were talking about this is, and I don't know why they can't do it on ESPN, Barry, but the SEC has a studio show. They've got a a group of guys that are in there talking about the SEC games in between the broadcast. Why did I do that on ESPN or ESPN2? Why do they have to have, so tight together with the scheduling? And I'm with you. Nothing, it irks me when I'm expecting to watch a game at a particular time, 7 p.m., whatever it may be, but the game before it is bleeding into it, and you got to go to ESPN News or the ESPN app or whatever it may be. And it does happen in football from time to time. It
does.
You're particularly late.
The 8 o'clock game.
Exactly. I remember one year Alabama was playing at Mississippi State, and I believe Kentucky was the game before it. They threw it on every play. The clock never stopped. The clock always stopped.
The clock never ran.
And I'm thinking, gee whiz, when they ever going to get this game over with?
And it was like already in the second quarter.
Oh, yeah. So can they not have a studio show on ESPN to kind of give them a little buffer? Because I'm with you. I don't want to put it on the ESPN app or go to ESPN News, which I'm not even sure where that is. To me, as a viewer, that's just frustrating. I got to go here. And you know me, I'm a very frustrated viewer.
Yes. John has got limited patience. He's got his clicker. He's the same guy that complains because to get to ESPN Plus, he's got to click 3 times instead of just 1. So if you ain't grabbing him early, then he is checking out something else. Ask his wife, 5 minutes on something is way too long. If you don't grab him in the first minute, he's checking out something else with the thought in the back of his mind always, this is pretty good, but what if I'm missing something better?
Yeah.
What if there's something else on there and I flip it over there and I think, oh man, I can't believe I missed this. I was watching that other thing constantly all the time. So you better grab him. And you better grab him quick. And by the way, you need to have those studio shows. Peter Burns' family got to eat too,
Yeah, Barry, I need to maybe look just to get ready to see what game is on ESPN2 before Georgia and Alabama at 3. So I'll just be ready, prepared. Get my ESPN app or find where ESPN News is or whatever, because obviously there's going to be some game on. Probably some Mid-America Conference game that'll go to quadruple overtime. And for some reason, we can't move away from this game. Why not?
Because somebody's got some money on that game.
Can you not put that game on ESPN News and put the other game on where it's supposed to be? How about doing that?
Can he send him another link about Quad Box? Yeah. John knows a lot more about Quad Box than he knows about Quad 1 wins, believe me.
You better believe it. All right, we're here live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, end of the month. Last day of January, Advantage Car Buyer, Advantage you, because they want to meet and exceed those sales goals. How do they do it? By selling you the vehicle you want at the absolute lowest prices. We've got a beautiful Grand Wagoneer. Actually got in it earlier today in the vehicle while we were on the air, up to $22,000 off. A 2024 a Jeep Grand Wagoneer L Series or 0% APR for 36 months or 3.9% for 72. It's your choice. Got a lot of options there, but you can have this beautiful vehicle in your driveway with $22,000 off the sticker. A lot of other great deals on the Jeep lineup, the Chrysler, the Ram. Of course, Barry, we told you earlier today here on the show, $20,000 off MSRP or 4.9% APR for 72 months. Your choice on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. This is Northwest Florida and Alabama's largest volume Ram dealer. How do they do it? Because Price sells Ram trucks, and they've got so many to choose from. A huge selection here on the lot. Color, trim package, 4-door, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, you name it, they got it.
It's Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy a round during the next truck commercial, buy a round during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make two plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. It is about 16 minutes past the hour here on the Friday edition of Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. A lot going on today. Ralph Michaels from Wager Talking the Gold Sheet's going to join us in about 15 minutes. Barry, he has sent us, and I forwarded it to you, what they call a prop sheet. And this is from the Superbook. In Vegas. We were talking about this last week. This used to be the Las Vegas Hilton.
Right.
And now it's the Westgate. And I remember one of the first times I went out to Vegas as a legal gambler. I was old enough to go, over 21. I remember walking into the Superbook thinking, this is the biggest place I've ever been. It's huge. It looked like NORAD from that movie, that War Games or Space Games.
War Games with Matthew Broderick and Sarah Jessica Parker.
And I'm thinking,
and that chimp. Oh,
look
great.
at this place.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sent this to us for the big game. Well, they call it SB 59.
Yeah.
Is what they call it out there. Big game 59. So
SB stands for, well,
yeah,
I can't tell.
I think you know. But we got a couple of, I love this, Barry. There's the odds on the coin flip. I'm a big coin flip guy.
Why are the odds not even? I mean, even is tails actually historically a favorite? I mean,
I've picked tails a lot lately. There was a streak of tails in the big game in the coin flip. That was one of my big deals years ago, Barry. There was a point in time when people thought talking about gambling was taboo. Whoa, I'm on the phone. I'm on the air. So there was a time when people thought you can't talk about gambling. Actually, when in our other medium, people actually came down to where our studios were and complained about it. I'll never forget it. And I said, well, sir, it's in the newspaper. I mean, I'm looking at it straight out of the newspaper. So I don't know what the big deal is. I didn't like us talking about gambling. And I'm thinking, what's the big deal here? And then the Super Bowl pops up, Barry, and they've got a camera at midfield to show America heads or tails. It never happens in any other game that the NFL plays. And you're seeing more of it now, not in the regular season as much. And I thought, why is it so important that America and the world get to see heads or tails?
You got, you can just envision the guy over there, the referees explaining, you've got the NFL logo is heads and the Hall of Fame logo is tails. You call it in, and he throws it up. And he doesn't like catch it and slap it on his palm like you did when you're kids and stuff. He throws it up and it's on the ground. Cameraman does this. Cameraman goes. And I'm thinking, what the heck?
Why do we need to see that? Because people are gambling on it. And they want to see with their own eyes heads or tails.
They ain't taking the referee's word for it.
Why did the NFL make such a big fuss to do that? Why, for as long as I can remember, Barry, did the NFL release injury reports. Why do we need to know on Wednesday who's probable, who's questionable, who's doubtful? Who
I
needs
used to
know that?
always think it was because so the other coaches would know who to prepare for.
Well,
John says, no,
no.
of course not. They're there so the bettors know who's going to play, because I can imagine some of them who don't have sources, and some of them have incredible sources, will lay out some sizable change, and all of a sudden they think, whoa, 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 it's Sunday morning. Whoa, whoa. This quarterback hadn't practiced all week? He's not dressing out?
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on. Wait a minute. How long have people known about that?
Sure. You would think, Barry, the casual viewer might want to know, but it's not going to really determine if he's going to watch the game or not. If he knows on Wednesday the starting quarterback's doubtful, if he knows it 5 minutes before kickoff, he's still going to watch the game. But a bettor, it's a little bit different. You got to be able to handicap, plan ahead, your strategy for how you want to wager. Now we have it in college sports. You got to have an injury report midweek in college. Why? Because of the gamblers. And the main reason, it's regulated. They're on top of it.
Yes.
They want to make sure nothing out of the ordinary is going on. It's kind of like people that gamble on gambling sites that are not regulated, and people under the age of 21 are getting on them, and there's really no restriction. You've got to have those regulated. Those gambling sites, being able to wager on sports has got to be regulated. Same thing with the NFL in terms of injury reports and information. It's got to be regulated. It's got to be above board. It's got to be controlled. And if it's not, it goes crazy. There again, my example, unregulated sports wagering that goes on in this state that's going on right now. Got to do away with it. Got to be done with it. Can't handle it anymore.
It's interesting. Some of those prop bets that Ralph has forwarded to him, I'm thinking, are they really betting on that?
Oh, yeah.
How do they even come up with the theory of this bet, much less actually, take in money on it? Stuff
one of my favorites, Barry, they used to do this with Michael Jordan. Will the total number of points in the Super Bowl be more than what Michael Jordan scores tonight in the Bulls game?
I mean, and people cannot wait to jump in on that.
Oh, love
Will the Gatorade bath for the winning coach be purple, green, or red?
See, to me, you could find that out. Hey, man, what kind of Gatorade you put in there tonight?
And what do you do to make them?
Yeah.
I mean, do they ship it in a hermetically sealed box, and the student managers have to lock the doors while they're mixing it around?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Makes you wonder.
One more.
Let's spin the wheel.
One more hit at the topic wheel.
Yeah. We might be able to. Oh, there's one we got. Well, I want to get to both of them. There's one in particular I really want to get to. Let's see where it goes. The Victory Land 777 topic wheel. It is on Trojans. Barry, I asked you during the break.
Yep.
Got ULM.
Yes.
Coming into the arena this weekend.
The Louisiana Monroe. Troy has won 3 games, including 3 games in a row, including last night, a 81-74 win over Georgia Southern. Troy now is in sole possession of second place in the Sun Belt Conference, and they wrap up a 4-game homestand tomorrow afternoon at 3:33 against ULM at Trojan Arena. Tickets are available. 2-for-1 ticket specials.
Nice.
All tickets, excluding the courtside tickets. Buy one, get one free as part of this special. That means general admission and reserve seating by going to TroyTrojans.com/tickets or by calling 1-877-878-WINS.
Okay, I'm still so interested in the halftime promotion last night. Do we have a big one for this game too?
The halftime promotion is a presentation. It's the letter winners day.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Our buddy Mike Amos, no, he's no relation. He's been an advocate for Troy University for 50 years. It's Mike Amos Day, going to have something like that. There's no contest. Well, they have the contest, like higher or lower on grocery store items for the students, and the shell game that they play,
love
stuff
the
like
shell
that.
game.
So they got plenty of those
Barry,
as well.
I've never won the shell game on Bourbon Street. They have
Because it's fixed. Have I got to tell you that? I once had one guy tell me, what was the deal where the guy ended up saying, I can tell you where you got your shoes.
Yeah, on your feet on Bourbon Street.
You got your shoes on your feet
Yeah.
on Bourbon Street.
And if you didn't answer that way, you had to give him a 5.
That's exactly
All right, I
right.
know our viewers are just chomping at the bit to know what the category, our last category is.
Yes.
So Gern, spin it so we can go ahead and talk about one of my favorite subjects.
This is Cam. No, it's not our remote camera that John and I are broadcasting on, which we have our difficulties with sometimes.
But today it's going good. Oh, okay. We've talked about Cam Newton for a lot here on the program.
Cam
Newton, former Auburn quarterback,
Gotcha.
Blythe Junior College, had a cup of coffee in Gainesville with the Florida Gators, we're told.
Yeah.
Exited on his own,
Uh-huh.
allegedly.
Yeah.
And so now, and then he went on to the NFL after he won the Heisman Trophy in the
First
national
round,
championship.
number 1 draft pick, led the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl, NFL MVP.
Mhm. Played for the Patriots for a minute, I believe, as well.
Now he is out
He is.
of the league.
He is a very interesting dresser. He has some very interesting fashion taste, but hey, to each his own. Is he now a regular fixture on First Take? It's his program on ESPN that Stephen A. Smith's on. I saw a clip yesterday. It looked like he was one of the panelists on a regular basis, not a guest, so to speak. He kind of got into it with Stephen A. a little bit on some certain subjects. But one thing I thought was really interesting, and I know there's a statue of Cam over at Auburn. He's a former Heisman winner.
Without the Smokey Bear hat.
Yeah.
Without the without really any of that stuff.
Yeah. Now, to my knowledge, Cam Newton never was on a team that won a Super Bowl. They played for a Super Bowl,
Yes,
correct? All
yes.
right. So what I thought.
He was only on that one team. He was only on one team that ever even played.
The discussion came up yesterday
Yes.
about the Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl, being a Super Bowl champion, or the MVP for the league. And Cam was asked what he would rather have. He's the MVP. He's been an MVP in the NFL before. And he said, hands down, no doubt about it, I treasure being the MVP over any opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And I thought that was kind of odd. I wondered if the question was asked, would you rather be a Heisman Trophy winner or a national champion in college?
He did both of those as well.
And
It's surprising.
I thought, it's all about the team and it's all about this. But he went on, and I'm sure you can Google it and find it on YouTube, like you can find us. But I thought that was kind of an interesting response. Yeah, I want my MVP. I'd rather have that than a Super Bowl championship.
Individual honors rather than team goals in a team sport.
Does that surprise you?
That disappoints me.
Does
That
it
does
surprise
more than
me?
surprise me. It does not surprise
No,
John.
it does
It
not
disappoints
surprise
me.
Yes.
And
I guess, Barry, that you bring it up that way, I'm a little disappointed too. Cam, you know better.
You know better.
Come
than
on.
that.
I would like somebody to pose the question, do you treasure your Heisman more than your national championship? I think Auburn fans would really like to know the answer to that. I hope he would say his national championship with his teammates.
Next time we get him on this program,
it'll be the first.
We'll ask him that. Maybe the last, too. Well, we are glad to have on our program many times Ralph Michaels. We've got him coming up in a moment. Prop bets for, what is it, SB
59.
Yeah.
And Chris, how about some love, man? We got through the topic wheel early today.
Yeah, we still got a half hour to go.
How about that, Chris?
That means more Ralph Michaels time coming up with Longshore and McKnight from Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, and Cobbsford Road in Prattville. It's Longshore and McKnight presented by Bud Light.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Already back at it here on a Friday, kind of grayish, but I believe the sun's going to burn through later today. And of course, that's when you need to make your way here to Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville to get some incredible deals. Last day of the month. Don't forget about that here in Alabama and Northwest Florida's largest volume Ram dealer. They're selling more Rams. Why? Because Price sells cars here at Stivers in Prattville. Hey, joining us now, our man Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet on our City of Montgomery guest hotline. Hey, Ralph, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, guys, always a pleasure. So, I had a look, Barry, at Troy and what they're doing. I mean, I never expected Arkansas State to be the leader in the conference, but to be sitting at 7-3 and trailing them by one game. And moving forward, Arkansas State has a much tougher schedule. They've played a very weak schedule thus far to get to that 8-2 record. So I know those Trojan fans are excited about this season.
Man, it's you're getting into the second half of the schedule, of the league schedule now, all around the country, where teams are going to start playing those same teams for a second time. There's a lot less surprise in the second half of a college basketball schedule. Am I right?
And I will say this, I broke down some Sun Belt numbers, and I'll run them for us for next week. But you do need to be careful, because when you have the traditional 4-day off and then 1 day off, and you're laying big points with that 1 day off on the weekend series, those big favorites have done poorly. Now, Troy is 3-0. ATS is a double-digit favorite this year, and they're going to be a 15-point favorite, against ULM, 15 or 16. So, they're going to get the win, but I'd be leery laying the points as we get later in the season on the shorter part of the schedule when you're playing the second game within a week.
There you go.
Yeah, you have
valuable information.
You're not kidding.
Ralph, the Super Bowl is next week. We're seeing a lot of odd stuff. You always see crazy things like, again, the color of Gatorade that'll be dumped on the coach, and all of that kind of stuff. How do you feel about those kinds of prop bets?
Again, if you want to have fun, there's absolutely no reason to beat the coin toss. It's a 50-50. If you want to, I'll tell you what, bet a friend, but don't pay the 10% juice by betting a stupid bet because you think you have a hunch.
Exactly.
If you bet a friendly bet, you're at a bar and you want to bet $5, heads or tails, it's a 50-50. And I'm okay with that. But to lay 10% on an automatic guess, I will say this, a few years ago, there was some information that leaked out. You're talking about the first song of the play set, or will the national anthem be over 2 minutes and 18 seconds? And a few years back, someone got into where they were practicing and actually timed the practice, because you know what they have to do? They have to record it first in case there's an issue when they're singing it live, that they can play the recording. So people actually know the exact time on those, but we've seen several situations on those props where information did get leaked out, and they either get blown up to such high odds that you can't bet them, or they just pull them down. So I stick with the ones I truly believe have a legitimate matchup. And when you're doing props, I may lay a few big favorites, but really I try to look for teams that are pick 'em or dogs, where if I split a pair of props, I'm going to make money. It may not be a lot of money, but going 1-1 with two underdogs is a profitable day.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of these prop bets, Ralph, the ones that I see seem to be the most popular are things like how many passing yards will Patrick Mahomes have? How many rushing yards will Jalen Hurts have? Will Saquon Barkley rush for over or under 110 yards in a game? To me, those are the prop bets that really you can maybe sink your teeth into a little bit better than some of these kind of these novelty props, if you will.
It is. And again, I'm going to go over a few records of some of the things that aren't player involved, but game involved. We talked about it quickly last week. And, if you're handicapping the game and you like KC and the under, then you're going to look at props that involve the way you think the game is going to get played out. There's a lot of times that I also like looking at the matchups. So, if we have a game a few years ago where the Rams, nobody scored a touchdown, you know what I mean? And every under prop cash, if you're betting Mahomes more pass yards than Hurst and Mahomes is minus 60 yards, a lot of times I find there's more value in that than picking what a player has to reach yards-wise, receptions-wise, or attempts-wise. So I keep my eye on both. I try to go in with no preconceived notions. I take a look at where the value is, but you have to remember this. I share the prop list with you guys, and if you want, it's a 50-page prop guide from the Westgate Superbook. If you follow me on Twitter at CalSportsLV, Wager Talk has that entire 50-page PDF loaded on the site. It's absolutely free, and you can have some fun. And even if you're not going to be in Vegas to bet them, make your own Super Bowl prop sheet for your party. Put down props, get $10 from everyone, circle them, see who gets the best, and you can have a lot of fun with props without having to be in Vegas or betting a lot of money on them.
Yeah, no kidding about that. I'm already on a couple of big boards for the game that we do every year. The squares, you buy the squares and do all that type of stuff for charity or whatnot. I love how many churches do that. Is that should they be doing that?
Really?
Churches having boards for the big game and you put $10 up? It all goes back to
for charity. That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's what it is. It's charity. I will say this, guys. In my Super Bowl guide that's available on my page, where I have the last 15 years of Super Bowl results, I have the last 6 years of team stats, the last 6 years of player stats, and then I actually have the squares that have covered each of the last. I will say this. In the last 15 Super Bowls, there have been 60 squares. One for the first quarter, one for the first half, one for the third quarter, one for the final. So you have 60 numbers over 15 years. 0-0 has hit 8 times. AFC 3, NFC 0 has hit 3 times. AFC 3, NFC 7 has hit 3 times. AFC 7, NFC 1 has hit 3 times. And that's it. So of all the number combinations, those 4 combinations have hit 20 times, and the others are all just spread out.
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up, Ralph, because when people that play in these boards, and there'll be, Super Bowl boards all over the country. There again, I mentioned I'm already in on one already. And so you say you're in, you put your money down, and then like the day before the game, they start drawing the numbers and put the numbers up, so where your numbers match.
Right.
If I get a 5, Ralph, I'm out. I just say I'm done. I mean, 5 has got to be the worst number to get if you're on a board. Am I right? You mentioned the numbers that are good. 5's not any good. I can't imagine. 9's very great. 2's maybe not too good. Where am I on the right track here?
Well, okay, I broke it down by AFC and NFC, so I have that number by chance.
Don't doubt it.
If you just look at the numbers, just the plain number for one side or the other, okay? The AFC, the 0 has hit for the AFC 18 times. That's 30%. That's amazing. So the 3 has hit 5%. The 1 has hit 1.7%. The 3 is 11 times. That's 18%. The 7. So 0 is number 1. 3 is number 2. 7 is number 3. 8 is number 4. And 4 is number 5. So there hasn't been a number that hasn't hit. A 5 has hit twice for the AFC and twice for the NFC. So 4 times. That has hit as much as a 2. So you are correct. The 2s and the 5s are the worst number. But again, with Philadelphia going for it often on the tush-push, Perhaps if they get a penalty, they'll go for a 2-point conversion. That changes all the dynamics nowadays with the missed extra points when they moved the when they moved it back in 2015, and Philadelphia going for it on 4th down this many times, and with going for it for a 2-point conversion. This isn't a bad year to have a weird number.
I've known guys
Makes a lot of sense.
that it's late in the quarter and they're on their number, and they score and they're on their number. Or they're thinking, okay, here we go. The extra point's going to get me to my number. Excuse me. I'm going to win this quarter, and then they go for 2. And either miss it or make it. They're done. I mean, they're dead. They go, oh, no. Try it out there and kick the extra point. I don't need 2. I don't need this. So it does get kind of crazy and exciting. Speaking of crazy, Ralph, I don't know if it's too early for this, but every year, right before the game, you hear stories about some people that make some really large wagers, $1 million bets on this game, straight up or on the total. Have you heard of any of that yet? And is there a limit? Is there a maximum that these sports books in Vegas will take on a game like this?
Well, I will say this. Most sports book have limits. If you want to go to the Circa or you want to go to the Superbook and they know who you are, it really is no limit, because in this game, $1 million isn't going to change a bet. $1 million on a college football game, they're never going to take it because that's more than their whole handle. But there's I won't mention his name. There's a boxer that lives here in Vegas, and he's probably right 30% of the time. The sports books are trying to send limos and helicopters to pick him up so he can bet at their casino with one of those $1 million bets. So during the Super Bowl, they don't worry about it because they can recover the money. It's the only time where the public is going to outweigh any of those big bets that are made.
Yeah, Ralph, that sounds like here in our area, the neck of the woods, if local man is calling you up to say, hey, man, you want to get in on this game today? Sounds similar to that boxer in Vegas come to pick him up with a helicopter.
Absolutely. So, I've got some bizarre numbers, and I'm going to put you two on the spot. I do not want to embarrass you.
Okay.
I do want to question you here, and so the viewers don't think that we're in cahoots. You guys have no idea this is coming. So, in the Super Bowl, how important is having that bye week? So I went back since 2003, and a team that had a first-round bye has played a team that has not had a first-round bye in the Super Bowl, like this year. KC had a bye. Philadelphia did not have a bye. It's happened 10 times. What is the ATS record for the team that had that first-round bye, is more rested, and has not been as tested?
How many times has it happened? You said 10?
It's occurred 10 times since the 2003 season.
I would go high. I would say, because that seems to me to be so important, I would say 8.
I was going to say 7.
Okay, 7-3 and 8-2. Well, John, you are closer. It is 0-10 against the spread.
Whoa.
Teams like the Chiefs that had a first-round bye are 0-10 against the spread. The Patriots did it against the Panthers. They won the game but didn't cover. So the last 9 have actually lost straight up, being an average favorite of -2.5. And the only team that won straight up in that role in the last 9 occurrences was Pittsburgh against the Cardinals. And remember that game? That was a touchdown pass to the corner of the end zone, or Pittsburgh would have lost that game straight up. They still didn't cover against Arizona. So an amazing number. Now, I still like the Chiefs, so this isn't going to take me off of it. But it just shows you what a preconceived notion can be. Make sure you're not betting bets on preconceived notions unless you have the data. So that is a crazy one. And I've got some crazy prop records if I can share as well.
Sure. How about that?
And I definitely want to hear those. And maybe we put you on the spot. I doubt we will. But I'm curious, it's kind of along the same lines. Wild card teams. I think the LA Raiders were a wild card team and won the Super Bowl. Are they the only one that's ever done it? Or wild card teams that even just make it to the Super Bowl? To me, those odds are not very good.
I don't have that because I can only break down by the weeks or the rounds, and it doesn't specify the wild card. So unfortunately, that is one thing that I don't have for you quickly at this point. I would manually have to go through it, and obviously on a live show, I won't be able to do that at this point.
Well, that is, I'm still reeling from that other one. You know, you're sitting around with your buddies and they're thinking you're smart. And you say, well, you know, I'm going this way with it because remember, they had the first round bye. That doesn't mean a thing. The data is the important thing, not the preconceived notions. That's
we
very
talked about
interesting.
last week. I said, you know, part of the reason I was on the Chiefs last week is because it doesn't matter how they play. They don't make mistakes. They're always in a game. And if you have Mahomes in the fourth quarter, there's a good chance you can win. You know, that record was 11-0. Now it's 12-0. That's an NFL record. They are 12-0 in games decided by one score. And even though they got outscored their last two playoff games and Philadelphia is off scoring 40 points or 50 points, whatever they scored, I still do lean Kansas City moving forward.
I'm kind of leaning that way myself. I'm glad I got another week to really kind of cross my T's and dot my I's to figure out where I might end up. In terms of prop bets, and here we go, we're over a week away. And as I mentioned, you know, Saquon Barkley's rushing numbers or Mahomes' passing numbers. Right now, I guess what's the best prop bet that you see out there right now in terms of that? I like yardage and scores and one of these prop bets. Is the first score going to be a field goal or a safety? That doesn't really interest me as much as the individual prop bet numbers.
Well, I'll have those for you next Friday. These prop packages just came out last night. A few places had them. So while you want to talk player specifics, I'm going to ask you to wait 7 days for that.
Sure.
I'm going to talk some generalized stat props, which I think will show you some numbers that are very impressive. When you download my free Super Bowl Wager Talk prop guide on my homepage, wt.buzz/RM, you will get 6 pages. It has 40 props and what has happened each of the last 15 years. So it gives you a great sample size of what you're looking at. How about this? Seems pretty simple. The team to score last wins the game. How many backdoor touchdowns have there been? How many have had front doors where maybe they didn't cover? Well, let me tell you this. My sheet only goes back 15 years. It's been 18 straight years. The team to score last has won the game. There have been no backdoor covers. There have been, it's that simple. 18-0, the team to score last wins the game. How about the team to score in the first 6 minutes of the game? You think that's pretty easy. 2 offenses, they come down and drive. Well, the no score the first 6.5 minutes of the game is 7-1, and it's 11-4 the last 15 minutes. And in the last 7 years, 4 times there's been no score in the first quarter. That's why there's been so many 0-0s. If you have 0-0 in the Super Bowl for that first quarter, that would be, if they said what would be your favorite number and I could pick one quarter, it would be 0-0 in the first quarter. Because again, there's been 4 the last 7. And in one of those games, it was actually 10-0. So the 0-0 would have won 5 times in the last 7 years. Last 2 minutes of the first half, will there be a score? It's 3-0 the last 3 years. It's 6-3 the last 9 years.
Right.
And a touchdown. What is the shortest touchdown going to be? The over-under is always 1.5. And people think, oh, come on, they're not going to have a 1-yard touchdown. It is actually 6-2. It happens so often because of pass interference penalties in the end zone. You get some penalties. So 6 of the last 8 years, there's been a 1-yard touchdown, and that is always one of my favorite props that I do bet that. By the way, the longest TD is normally about 48.5 yards. The under is 2-0 the last 2 years, and 6-1 to the under that we have not had a touchdown over those 49 yards, only once in the last 7 years. So that's what my prop sheet's going to tell you. All of that type of information, each of the last 15 years, how many field goals, how many sacks, how many fourth down conversions, all of those things that at least it's not going to tell you how to bet, but at least it keeps you informed. if this has been a profitable situation in the past.
All right, my last question for you, Ralph, and you kind of touched on it, and it triggered me. Penalties in the end zone, and you get the ball at the 1. Let's just talk about penalties in general. It's pretty well known that there are not a lot of flags thrown in the Super Bowl. They seem to officiate the Super Bowl differently than the regular season. Letting some things go, maybe letting them play a little bit more. Does that factor into handicapping?
Well, I actually have that information in the stat sheet on my homepage. So I will tell you this. I will shoot you the data, and then you decide.
Okay.
Last year,
all right, fair enough.
Last year, each team had 6 penalties for 12. The year before, 6 and 3 for a total of 9. 3 years ago, 2 and 4 for a total of 6. 4 years ago, let me find it. 4 years ago, 11 and 4, so 15. 4 and 5 for 9, and 3 and 9 for 12. So I would say the average penalty is about 8, 8.5. So we have 3 overs, 3 unders the last 6 years. So you have to make the determination. Now we know the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl, 4 of the last 5 years. So I can tell you this: the Chiefs in the Super Bowl have had 5, 2, 11, and 4. So the 2 most recents have been only 7 penalties in 2 years. So maybe we look at the Philadelphia penalty situation. In the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Philadelphia had 6 penalties where KC had 3. So if you're looking something there quickly, my take would be I would lean, first glance, KC, fewer penalties than Philadelphia.
Pretty smart.
Nobody has the data, reads the data like Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet. Great stuff. Again, let our listeners know how they can get your free prop bet guide and also your Super Bowl guide itself. I mean, your
Super Bowl guide is on my homepage. So if you go to Wager Talk, click Ralph Michaels, you'll see the free download. If you want the shortcut, it's wt.buzz/RM. If you want the 50-page Westgate prop pack, 50 pages long, guys, of props, you can go to my Twitter where I retweeted Wager Talk, or if you go to wagertalk.com, look on the top line and there's downloads. You can click the download and get that free download that I emailed you guys this morning. So, John, right after I get off, I will email you my Super Bowl guide as well. So share that with Barry and you'll have that information.
Definitely. We definitely will.
Stuff. Thank you so much, Ralph. We appreciate you.
Looking forward to next Friday, guys. It's going to be
cannot wait.
This week, keeping up with all the news. And I just hope nothing stupid happens. Even though I'm laying KC, I don't want any late injuries on Philadelphia. I really enjoy a game when 2 great teams are playing and the best team wins by playing better on the field. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep. Outstanding, Ralph. Thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll talk next Friday.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet. Some great information, even more next week. Also, Lee Sterling of Paramount Sport. Maybe the Phantom will show up next week.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Well, John, look at us. Yeah. It's Friday. Mm-hmm. We're done with the topic wheel. Great stuff from Ralph Michaels. Look at us being on schedule.
Yeah, I mean, is Chris giving us an attaboy for the top of it? He's in shock. Chris is in shock.
No doubt. All we got to do now, take a break, come back, wrap it up, and get you set up for the weekend with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
This isn't going to work. No matter what we say, some people still drive drunk. But we're Budweiser. Giving a damn is what we do. So, if you think it's okay to drive drunk, if you think it's something that's debatable, or you just simply don't care, this bud is not for you. Give a damn. Don't drive drunk. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders. Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, we're back at it here. About 5 minutes to go until the top of the hour. Don't forget, you can always check us out at Yellow Hammer News. Always a write-up each and every afternoon about what we talked about and discussed here on the program. Some video content as well. You can watch the show linking up through yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out always on YouTube. Just search Longshore and McKnight. We're on Spotify as well. You can check us out through your Bluetooth on your audio system in your vehicle. Yep. So many ways to enjoy our content. We really appreciate everybody hopping on, hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button, and tell all your friends and associates about what we got going on. There's always a lot of good Instagram content as well. Some highlight clips that are posted on Instagram of what we talked about on the show. So be looking out for that as well. Check us out on Instagram.
A couple of things from the River Region Straw chat line. Can you confirm or deny? Curtis checks in. He says local man doesn't do prop bets.
Well, some of them don't, particularly during the regular season. Super Bowl is a different animal. But I do know that that has been expanded a little bit, particularly in terms of betting first half and second half lines. You know, just betting the game in sections, if you will, instead of the whole game. I know that's expanded a little bit, but during the regular season, they don't have to deal with all that. They got enough to worry about in terms of straights and parlays and teases and turns and all that other kind of stuff.
Also, a couple of quick hitters from Robbie. Maybe not that quick. He says, don't forget, Alabama hosts Georgia Saturday at 3 p.m. We've already talked about that, Robbie. Georgia beat Big East leader St. John's and Kentucky. Bama has to win to have a shot at a number one seed in the SEC and a number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament. He also says in another chat, I strongly believe Ole Miss can upset Auburn in Oxford because of their physicality and rebounding. Auburn is due to lose on the road, should have lost to Tennessee, but they didn't. Theotis points out, Robbie, you always bet against Auburn.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
And Robbie points out Calipari returns to Lexington Saturday when Arkansas goes to Kentucky. Talked about that as well. Probably talked about that, not as much as Robbie would like to, but here's one thing we need to talk about. Opportunities knocking here at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville, where John and I have spent the last 2 hours watching everybody move vehicles.
I cannot stress enough, Barry. Today's the last day of the month.
It is.
It is January 31st. Tomorrow's February 1. Why not go ahead and make this deal at the end of the month where I'm telling you, it's just a little known secret. We're going to share it with you. Advantage Car Buyer, because they want to meet and exceed those monthly sales goals. And how do they do it? By selling you the vehicle that you want at a price that you can afford. Price sells cars. We know it. Bottom line, that's it. But everything else that comes with it, the selection, the service that you get from these experienced sales associates here at Stivers, that just makes the process even more enjoyable. But we all know price sells cars, and nobody's going to sell you a vehicle at a better price than our good friends here at Stivers. Alabama and Northwest Florida's largest volume Ram dealer. They got your Ram truck here, Barry. We told you earlier today you can save $20,000 on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. How about that?
Those are amazing vehicles. Even at full price, it's a great deal. $20,000 off. Opportunities knocking.
And if you're just watching the show now, rewind it a little bit
You
to
can do
earlier in the show when we got into this Grand Wagoneer and showed you. I mean, we kind of Carol Merrilled it. I think that's what you said from
that's
Let's Make a
exactly
Deal.
right.
And
I
man,
felt like Don Pardo. Dun, 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 dun,
I mean,
wah,
loved getting
wah.
in the vehicle, doing the show from the passenger seat.
We
It
could
was
do
great.
that. We could do that. We can do a full show from in there.
That'd be a great idea.
Need to do it.
Put the
Yes.
camera up on the hood.
Yeah.
And we sitting there. You're gonna be the driver or me?
Oh, you can be the driver.
I don't like to drive.
You can be the driver.
It's like when I play golf. I don't like to drive the golf cart. I
Yeah,
like
when
somebody
you-
else to drive it.
When John says, "Hey, if you want to pick me up and take me to a game, I might think about going."
I tell you, pick me up in this Grand Wagoneer. We're going.
Doesn't really matter to what.
It
To be
doesn't matter.
honest
Well,
with
you
you.
can take me to Auburn. I'll go to the Auburn game in that
Yeah,
thing.
in style here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama. Thanks to Ralph Michaels for being with us today. Monday, Super Bowl
Yes.
week, recapping basketball and a whole lot more. Make sure to join us then. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.